All right, here's our next example for graphing the parabola given a quadratic function in factored form. So on this one, we know that a equals 1/2. So we already know that the parabola is going to open up. We know it's got a vertical dilation. It's compressed, so it's going to be wider than the parent graph. And we know the zeros are going to be x equals 9 and x equals -5. So let's plot those points. We know it crosses at 9, 0 and at -5, 0. So now to figure out the axis of symmetry, we can either use the graph or we could just do the average of the zeros. I think it's easier on my eyes, just do the average of the zeros on this one. So 9 plus -5 divided by 2, well, isn't that 4 over 2? So x equals 2. All right, so let's graph that now on the x-axis or on the coordinate plane. All right, so there we have our axis of symmetry. Now what I want to do is find the vertex. So we're going to substitute x equals 2 into our equation, and we're going to solve for y. So y equals 1/2 multiplied. I'm not going to show all the substitution work here. I'm going to go 2 minus 9, so that's going to be -7. And then it's going to be 2 plus 5, which is going to be +7. So we're going to get -49 halves. So my vertex is 2, comma, -49 halves, which is also known as -24.5. So it's way down here, -24.5. There is my vertex. Okay, now we can use the a value to quickly graph the parabola. All right, I plotted the points to save us some time, but let's talk about how I got these points. So from the vertex, when I went over 1, either right or left, I went up 1/2 because 1 squared is 1, 1 times 1/2 is 1/2. When I went over 2, I went up 2 because 2 squared is 4, 4 times 1/2 is 2. When I went over 3 from the vertex, I went up 9 halves, which is 4.5. That's how I got up to the y value of -20. When I went over 4, I went up 8 because 4 squared is 16. 16 times 1/2 is 8. All right. When I went over 5, I went up 12.5 because 5 squared is 25. Half of 25 is 12.5. So that's what got me up to the y is -12. When I went over 6, I went up 18 because 6 squared is 36. 36 times 1/2 is 18. And then finally, I didn't have to do the next one. I already had my zeros there in green. So now I just connect the dots and make my nice, pretty parabola.